we talk about what some more survival tips and tricks in the beginning of a Minecraft world, and just explaining of how Minecraft works. Now, last episode, we talked about how to build your house, where would a good location to build your house would be, and how to obtain and cook food. And today I am going to talk, I'm going to continue to talk about those topics, and I'm also going to build a bed, which was an objective that I had last episode, and I never completed because I couldn't find any herds of sheep. Speaking of which, one of the ways to both obtain wool and food from sheep is to kill them. Later on in the game, once you find iron ore and smelt it into iron ingots, you can just take the wool off of the sheep instead of killing them, which is a very productive way of getting wool. But at the beginning of the game, you're pretty much going to be strictly put into an area where you're going to have to kill the animals to get material. Now, this leather is an important early game material that drops off of cows once you kill them. You can use the leather to make armor, and well, that's about it. But you can use it to make armor. And this is very weak armor, but it is also pretty decent armor for the beginning of the game. At this time, you're probably going to have stone material, but it is definitely possible to get other materials such as iron, which is right here, iron ore, which can only be mined by a stone pick. And I have no idea how I did not notice that there was some iron there last time. Now, there's actually something spawning all of these zombies. Up here, no, wait. There's a spawner somewhere. No, maybe not. There was a dungeon down here that was spawning zombies with a zombie spawner, which is actually one of the rare underground temples, I guess you could say, that you can find. Well, anyways, so first we're gonna want to mine this iron ore. This is going to be an important material right now and later on, for it is easy to obtain. One, that is if you have the right materials and know what layers to find it on. And two, it also can be very useful for creating tools and materials by smelting them down into iron ingots, and then going to your crafting table to turn them into weapons or tools. You have to think like a Persian to get through it. So I'm gonna go to my furnace here. I'm gonna put 4 pieces of coal in. No, 4 pieces, yeah. And then I'm going to put my iron ore in there. As you can see, it is smelting, and right here you will see an iron ingot. You can use iron ingots to not only make materials, make blocks such as the iron block, but you can also use it to make tools and weapons such as the iron sword or iron pickaxe or iron axe. With 3 ingots, you can't really do too much, but you're gonna want to save it anyways. Now I'm gonna just start cooking that. By the way, by putting a material in there, it does create a it cooks on its own, so you don't have to keep material in there. As you can see, I can make an iron sword with two steel. I can make an iron hoe, which is a farming tool with two iron ingots, an iron axe with 3 iron ingots, an iron shovel with 1 iron ingot, and 3 iron ingots makes a pickaxe. Of course, you also need sticks. 3 iron ingots can also make you a bucket, which is another material, which is another thing that can become useful during farming and other such occasions. You can also make armor with it. Of course, I don't have enough ingots to make any armor out of it, but it's definitely possible. Now, I'm gonna go back out and hunt a little bit more. That's one of the primary things that you'll be doing in the game during the beginning. You'll be hunting for materials such as wool, leather, and food. All 3 materials are important throughout the entire game. Not only is wool wool can be used for beds, leather can be used for armor, and food, well, you have to eat, or else you won't regenerate health, and if your hunger goes all the way down, then you actually begin to lose health. Depending on the difficulty determines how much health you'll lose. Now, as you can see, I have enough leather to make a piece of armor. For this, I'll make a leather chest plate, which uses all of my leather. So, I go to my inventory and press triangle, and it automatically equips it. Going back here, we can see that you can create different types of wool by putting your regular white wool in with a dye, which you can obtain through several different, each one can be obtained through several different ways. You can also make white wool with string, which you get from, and that's one of the things I talked about yesterday. Spiders are one of the mobs that drop rare items, and their rare item is wool. Is string. So, and you can use that string to make wool. So if you don't find any sheep in your area, or you just live in a desert, then it's always useful to have a bunch of spiders near to you. So as you can see, I have made a white bed out of wool and wood. So if I go to sleep in it, this will not only save my location, and will save this as my spawn point, but it also means I get to skip the night, as well as it just is a really useful tool. This tool is one of the most important tools besides the pickaxe. The pickaxe being probably the most important tool in the entire game. So, seeing as I have just accomplished some of the objectives that I set yesterday, I'm going to talk about some of the other things that you can do in this game. For example, horses. You can tame them. To tame a horse, you have to have an empty space in your inventory, and then you can click on a horse to ride it. Of course, this will take several attempts before the horse, doesn't kick you off. I'm not controlling the horse, by the way. It's still a wild, untamed horse. And as you can see by that, not only that trophy, but the fact that now I can open the inventory and those hearts, I have tamed this horse. I still cannot control it because I don't have a saddle, but if I had a saddle, then I could actually ride the horse and tell it where to go. But I basically just tamed a horse that I can't really ride, so. Anyways, gonna eat some pork chop and go back to the house. By this time, that steak, or well, that steak that I put into the furnace should be cooked by now. And as soon as I go to grab it, I should be given the steak. Yep. And more cows are here. Now, seeing as we already have a sword that's effective, and we don't really have enough to make armor, let's use our iron to make an iron pickaxe. This iron pickaxe is going to be another useful tool because as you continue mining, most materials will be able to be mined by the iron pickaxe and still give you the material. In fact, all of the other ores can be mined by an iron pickaxe, which includes diamond and gold. Those two ores can be mined by the iron pickaxe. So, and an iron pickaxe obviously can also mine itself. So let's go back into this cave. I probably should grab some torches next time I come down here. But let's look around a bit. I found an entire deposit of coal here. That's going to be useful, but I'm going to save it for now because eventually you're going to mine so much coal that you're basically going to run out of coal. So it's always good to not grab more coal than you need, or else you're wasting materials that you could use for some other purpose. Only grab what you need, unless you know that you might need more than what you need, which doesn't make too much sense, but it kind of makes sense when you think about it. Anyways, so let's go back up. I probably need to go make some torches, so yeah. If you ever hear some sort of whoop sound, that's an Enderman. Endermen are another one of the mobs. Of course, they're a little bit more rare than some of the other mobs, but they also spawn at night, and so that means that one that I heard during the last episode must have spawned in the world prematurely. But they can take blocks one at a time, and of course they can't put down that block once they take it. And yeah, they're pretty hard to kill. Once you hit them, they start to teleport around you, and most of the time they'll teleport behind you and hit you while you're not paying attention. And I would say to be careful around them, because if you hit them at the wrong time, chances are they'll attack you and you'll die. Okay. By the way, wait, where is it? Oh, here it is. This is a wolf. Wolves can be tamed by using bones that you can obtain from skeletons. So, okay, and then you're gonna want to you're gonna click L2 on the wolf, and I've tamed this creature. So, now seeing as I've tamed it, I can tell it to come by clicking L2 on it again, and it will follow me. As you can see, it's following me. I'm just going, for now I'll just put it outside of my house. It doesn't attack creatures on its own. So if a creature comes near you, the dog will not attack any creatures on its own. But if a creature attacks you or you attack a creature, then it will join you in fighting that creature. Of course, you can leave it sitting down. You can leave the wolf sitting down wherever, and it will not follow you unless you go back and tell it to stand up and continue to follow you. Now, and if some people like to give their wolves names, and to be honest, I think that's okay. Most of the time I do actually name animals in this game, so I guess we'll just call the wolf that I tamed Pete. Reason? Because this is just a walkthrough guide. I'd probably give him another name and a different colored collar if this wasn't a walkthrough. But seeing as this is a walkthrough, I'll just call him Pete. So let's go collect some more wood. The reason, because we're gonna need to expand our house. It might seem like a decent size right now, but to be honest, in this game you are going to need much larger buildings, and this is because you're going to gather so much material, and you're going to need a lot of some objects to smelt that material, to craft that material, or to just put that material in. So, let's just collect some more wood from the nearby trees. And let's turn this all into planks. Seeing as we're not gonna really be building anything besides actually, I'm gonna build off of this side. Seeing as we're not going to be doing too much to the actually, I probably should build. Seeing as we're not going to be building actual tools, you don't really need to build sticks unless you know that you're going to be building tools. In that case, you're probably going to need the sticks. The one thing you need to be aware of whenever playing this game is that there are different types of trees. For example, the one that I just mined is a birch tree. In other words, this material. This material is an oak tree. So this is an oak tree. The one that I just mined is a birch tree. That's one important thing to remember whenever you're playing this game, because sometimes you might think you mined one material and you actually mined another. So, time for some house renovating. This is the house that I've made is a little bit too small. So, all I need is a quick expansion and I should be good to go. It doesn't have to be too much. You don't want to expand your house so much that you end up just, making it to where it's hard to keep up with where everything is. And to be honest, that's usually something you're going to want to do at the end of the game. Besides, you don't want to another thing you don't want to do is tear down the entire forest, because once again, you need to worry about the materials that you have. If you run out of one material, then you won't be able to get that. Then you won't be able to get that material unless you travel, which means you are going to have to move across the map just to get a certain material that you're looking for, which is never a good thing, because that means that you're going to actually, because that means that you're going to have to constantly be moving and looking for more materials. So, to make sure you don't use up all of the materials in your area, what you're going to do is slowly expand, and if you don't really like to do that, or you're playing in creative mode, then you could try to do something with these samplings. These are oak samplings that I have in my hand right now. I can plant them, and within a few days they will grow into oak trees. The environment around me. This can be very useful for people who don't really like to have to leave their small little territories much and stay in a small area and not really leave much. And to be honest, that's something I agree with. So, what I recommend doing is planting these samplings apart from each other, and then waiting a few days for them to grow, mine them down, collect their samplings, and then put down more trees. It's an easy way to make sure you do not run out of any materials in your area, and always have enough to build. So, thank you for watching this episode of Minecraft Walkthrough Guide, Episode 2, and I hope you enjoyed. Please remember to like and subscribe the video, and I will see you in the next video, where I probably will be talking about farming. So, thank you for watching, and bye.